All new tonight, county clerk's offices across Jefferson County are finally back open after a Russian ransomware attack shut down for 4 days. The reaction from customers and leaders. Plus, it's time to go back to school, how students and JCPS bus drivers are preparing for the big day.
And I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez live from right here in Des Moines, Iowa. In just minutes, Governor Andy Beshear will be delivering an address to Iowa Democrats. But moments ago, he had an interview with me. What he told me about VP Kamala Harris and his cryptic tweet from just yesterday. That's right here at 6:30.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear in Iowa tonight, speaking as the keynote speaker to a sold-out crowd in Des Moines. Iowa has played host to the start of many successful campaigns for national office and is considered one of the most important presidential primary states in the country. It's our top story here at 6:30. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Dieterer. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are in Iowa right now covering the speech as the governor is being vetted as a candidate for vice president. Now, Isaiah, I know the governor spoke with us exclusively just a few minutes ago before his speech. What is his message to voters right now?
Well, Alex, it's a little hard to hear you right now because of the music. Folks are really getting ready for the governor within the next 15 minutes or so, but I believe you had asked about his message. He did tell me right after our interview to look out for some new content. Take with that what you will. We're going to be hearing about that. But here is what he told me in a one-on-one interview just moments ago. We've seen reporting that Vice President Harris, and I'm quoting here, is looking for someone who can balance the ticket, someone who's more of a governing partner, and someone who's effective with executive experience at the highest level. Is that you?
Well, that certainly describes a governor, and it certainly describes a governor that lives in a state where you have to reach across the aisle to get things done. Listen, I'm honored to be considered in any process, but I'm mainly proud of what we've done in Kentucky that gets us on this stage. I mean, the idea that we can have a Democratic governor, a Republican supermajority, yet we can break every single economic development record that moves our people forward. I mean, we can have more private sector investment than ever before, create more jobs than we've ever seen, created at the highest 2-year average wages, break the record for exports, break the record for tourism, and then start making some real progress, lower recidivism than we've seen in a long time. Drug overdose deaths are going down. So while the recognition of me is flattering, I really see it about us. People are looking up to Kentucky. People are talking about Kentucky. I'm here in Iowa, and you're here in Iowa. Thanks for bringing a little extra Kentucky. But isn't that special that people want to hear our story? Not my story, but our story. And that's what makes me proud in any process.
You don't tweet things accidentally. You don't misstep on your words. Everything is deliberate. And your tweet yesterday, you said, no matter what the future holds, Kentucky is my home. What does that mean?
Well, there shouldn't be anything inferred out of that other than I see all these stories out there. I want Kentuckians to know that I love being their governor, that I love this state, that Kentucky is part of my DNA. And regardless of what they're reading, no matter where I am, I'm going to be doing everything I can to support this state. The only reason I'd ever consider anything else, go through any process, is if I could believe that I could help Kentucky even more and help the United States of America in ways that Kentucky has already done. That's more of me saying I love you to everybody out there than anything else.
Well, we were saying it sounds a little bit almost like I love you and I'm doing this for you when I move on. Is that not what you're intending by that?
I haven't moved on to anything else. Right now, I am Kentucky's governor, and I'm grateful to be that.
Beshear is set to speak to hundreds of influential Iowans Saturday night in a keynote address for an annual Democratic fundraiser.
It seems to be a hot place to come and get some attention and get a feel for potential for a political race.
On Friday, walking through downtown Des Moines, we talked to Andy Peaster, who's lived here since 2000.
What kind of candidate do you think is necessary for Kamala Harris?
That's a great question. I think just to contrast the other ticket, just people who are real and have a moral compass and know how to treat other people and show empathy. I think that's going to go a long, long way.
Peaster says it was Beshear's response to the eastern Kentucky floods nearly 2 years ago that caught his attention.
I've seen him, after many of those things. So when we talk about empathy, that's one of those things that I do, pair him with that quality.
So that stuck out to you even states away?
Oh, absolutely.
And we're just in the introductory period right now. Things have gotten a little silent, but we are, of course, going to hear from the governor within the next 15 minutes or so, is what I'm told. And that will be, of course, live streamed on our website, WHAS11.com. Alex.
Thank you, Isaiah. And we can just see behind you that packed room for Governor Andy Beshear. But in your one-on-one with the governor, he really didn't hold back on his thoughts on Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance. Specifically, he called out Vance for his Kentucky origin story comment. And as we've both seen, Isaiah, the back and forths between Beshear and Vance, they really don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
Alex, absolutely not. In fact, I asked Governor Beshear directly if it were him and Senator J.D. Vance up one-on-one in a debate, say they were both the VP picks, obviously Vance already is, who would win? And Beshear did not hesitate. He said, I would. And he says he has conviction. So some strong words. Again, this is very personal for Governor Beshear. He talks about how Vance, he believes this was an attack, some of his words, specifically that book we've talked about, specifically on Eastern Kentucky. And so there's a lot here, and we'll hear from those remarks again. I'm told there will be new content from the governor here tonight. Make sure to watch right here on WHAS 11. Alex.
All right, thank you, Isaiah. And our coverage will continue tonight, like you just mentioned. We'll have a full analysis of Beshear's keynote speech, plus reaction right here on the night team. Now, Beshear is on a short list of candidates right now. Those include North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. There are also about a half dozen others that are being vetted as well. Meanwhile, Trump's campaign has turned its attention completely to Vice President Kamala Harris. The campaign is attacking her record as vice president. Trump attacked Harris, claiming she is responsible for the southern border, a point the GOP has viewed as a massive failure by the Biden administration. In a speech at a Turning Point conference last night, Trump also attacked Harris as extreme.
Harris will appoint hundreds of extreme far-left judges to forcibly impose crazy San Francisco liberal values on Americans nationwide. She'll appoint hardcore Marxists to the Supreme Court to shred our Constitution and all of our religious liberty. She will do that, absolutely. She will try as hard as she can to add as many justices as possible to the U.S. Supreme Court.
In a response to the comments made by Trump, Harris's campaign said in part, quote, "America can do better than the bitter, bizarre, and backward-looking delusions of criminal Donald Trump," end quote. Well, today, new here for you at 6:30, a majority of Jefferson County Clerk branches reopened to the public following a ransomware attack that shut down the clerk's office for 4 days. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester spoke with customers and a car dealership who continues to face backlogs as an effect of the cyber attack.
It was a little bit of a drag to find out a Russian cyber attack, closed down the Jefferson County Clerk's offices. But it is what it is, right?
Resident Byron Shorter visited the Jeffersontown County Clerk's branch for a routine registration renewal. He says he didn't know how long the offices would be closed, but the process today was quick and easy.
Took care of me right away, got everything done. I barely had time to sit down. I think maybe not a lot of folks knew it had reopened today.
On Monday, all 8 branches of the Jefferson County Clerk's office remained closed due to a Russian ransomware attack. Today was the first day most of the branches were open for services. The downtown branch remained closed, but is expected to reopen on Monday. The Jefferson County Clerk said services have resumed, but car dealerships are feeling the residual effects with backlogs.
I was very nervous because indefinite is never a good thing when you hear it, and I had customers calling me, asking me questions, and I had no resources. I had no way to call. I started calling other counties. The county clerk, Bobby Holsclaw, tells us she wants customers to be patient with the office as these issues get resolved. Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
The county clerk says all branches are expected to be operational on Monday, and the investigation into the cyber attack is still ongoing.